Hello and welcome to the Darkest Hour. My name is Piper Scrime, and today we're looking at Lords of the Fallen, a game that I've had since release, but unfortunately I haven't been able to bring you a video on it because the recording software that I regularly use does not work with this game. I don't know why. It's a shame, but hey. So, let's jump straight in and see what we have. I have played a fair chunk of this game, and I think, when I say a fair chunk, I'm going to say about 3 or 4 hours, which might not be anything. But I've had a decent enough first impressions to let you know about what to expect. However, I'm going to start a new game today, so it's going to be more like a walkthrough. But that's pretty good because we could, hopefully, because I've done it before, we can actually see a bit more of it. So let's have a quick look at the options screen. Good sound. You got master, voice, effects, and music. Good. Nice to see sliders on all of those. And we're on controller today, and I do believe this game was designed for controller, and I will tell you what, show you why. Because if you switch over to the mouse, you still get controller prompts, which is weird, but it's not really a problem. I'm going to be playing on controller. I prefer that anyway. Okay, so display, you've got your HUD icons here, always show quest text, all this and everything. This is all default. Calibrate gamma. Let's turn that down somewhat. I am actually using NVIDIA GeForce optimal settings, so I'm going to take a look at that in a second. That will do for that one. Controls, sensitivity. We're just leaving all of this on default. It will show you the controller layout, and you get default or you get alternative. That's it. You just get one or the other. I'm going to leave it on default. I don't actually think the controls are that bad. There are 1 or 2 issues that do take a little bit to get used to, but for the most part the controls are not too bad at all. Okay, so let's get used to. You can change all of your keyboard and mouse controls, by the way. You can customize all of that, but you just can't with the controller. So if you want to use keyboard and mouse, you can customize all your controls. Let's take a look at the graphics. You have a preset, which I'm going to have on custom because I had. This is what you see for NVIDIA GeForce optimization, and it shows my resolution, which is native to your monitor. Texture, which is as high as it can go. All of this is as high as it can go. Windowed can actually have full screen. Windows default borderless. Leave it on full screen. Post processing enabled. Volumetric light enabled. This enabled here. VSync, which I don't normally like. I normally hate VSync. It's shit, to say the least. But if I turn it off, for some reason or no, I don't know why. I know this game runs at something nuts like 80 to 90 frames per second on my graphics card. If I turn VSync off, it crashes the game out. Can't run it without VSync. So you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to leave it on. So it just means it will be at a solid 60. Can't really complain at that, can we? Okay, so, and this game does feature a thing called NVIDIA Turbulence. Now, if NVIDIA Turbulence has been on a game that I've played before, I haven't noticed it. It definitely hasn't been in the settings, and we're going to have it on today. I believe it's something to do with the physics. It's a physics simulation that basically simulates good ground turbulence, you know, like actually movement stuttering. So like if something bigger than you is like creating footsteps to create turbulence, it stunts your movement. I believe that's what it is. It could be something else. I definitely don't have any extensive knowledge on what NVIDIA Turbulence is. I haven't even looked it up. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know. But I'm going to leave it on, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's enough for the options screen, I believe. So let's go to new game. And as you can see, I've already attempted to bring it. This is my save game, so I'm actually 4 hours and 18 minutes into it, right? I've attempted to bring you a version of that. Then I attempted it again with no joy. I deleted this and tried it again twice. So this will be the 4th time I've actually tried to bring you a video. So let's delete this. Yes, and we'll try again. Now, when you start a new game, you are presented with these, and it's easy to assume that that is going to make a massive difference, but it doesn't. You just pick one to focus on, but you can still level up these other types. This is your magic selection. before I make a magic selection, I'm just going to show you equipment selection. This is more of an important choice. So this will determine like your combat and the way you play the game. Obviously there's this sword and shield guy who is going to be tanking, is going to be taking the most damage, and is going to be giving the most damage. There's this guy that can take less damage but is way quicker. And there's this guy who's an all-rounder who I'm going to go with. So, what is the benefit to this guy? Well, you're going to get hurt a lot in this game. You're probably going to die quite a bit. So this guy can take a hit, but he can't roll as good as this guy. Now the roll, this game is very similar to Dark Souls. In fact, I'd say gameplay wise, it's somewhere in between Dark Souls and Darksiders. And more of the character gameplay, rather than like level design and things like that, I'd say belongs closer to Dark Souls. So things like your roll definitely depend on your weight. Now you can unequip your armor, but it kind of defeats the purpose of taking a character like this. So it really depends on your own style. So you've got this one who's more tanky, this one who's more dexterity, and this is one who's the all-rounder. That's the one we're going to go with. But if you notice, they have an outline: blue, red, and green. So if you go up to magic, you have blue, red, and green. So is that a coincidence? Maybe. I don't think so though. So if you want to pause it and have a look at read of the stats aside for each magic, we'll do that. But pretty much what you need to know is that the blue one is focuses on range, I believe. Let's have a look. Protective shell. Yeah, this is more tanky. This one, motionless clone. Days. A powerful force that inflicts fear upon enemies. Basically, you've got your weapon, and you do have ranged as well. However, this is your magic type, which is a third ability that you have to acquire a meter to be full to then use it. This meter does recharge, it takes a while, so there's a cooldown on this ability, but you can also gain part of that meter by doing various other things. The only one that I've used is brawling, and I'm going to stick with that today. But yeah, like I said, if you want to pause the video and read all of these and think about what you want to choose for your own build. But we're going to go with red. We're going to go with this all-rounder, which is blue by the way, so essentially you should be using that. But you don't have to use that. We're going to go with red, we're going to go with this guy, and we're going to go with a summary of that. And as you can see, it says vitality and faith are strong. Now if I was to change it to this, it's going to say that vitality actually goes down and faith goes up. So it really is... No. Oh. Change it to that. See, vitality's actually gone up. So it is balanced, but you can make various different builds. Now, the game is very weighty. By that I mean, when you initiate an attack, it could be a couple of seconds before you actually hit. So timing is key in this game, and I fucking love that. It makes the combat feel so much more rewarding. Even if you miss, it's like it's a whole learning experience, and you really have to experience it to see what I mean by that. But let's jump straight in. Now this game does have a problem with things like loading screens and loading screens going from one world to the other, and even from cutscene to thing. The frames will drop right down to like 0, which is not a problem for playing it, but it's a problem for recording it. It just means that the recording cuts out, and I'm really hoping that isn't going to happen today. But these hints are really good as well. Like I'm glad games have started doing that, like doing something for you to interact with while the loading screen's on, because it makes sense. Hand of God Mountains. Those are fingers. Look at the size of that fucker.
Fallen God, creator and destroyer of worlds, hear my vow.
Now what I don't know is whether this character that you see here is relevant to your character selection. Because that is the character that I picked. He had that armor, he had that weapon, and as you see, he picked this hammer. Now, this is the only one that I've ever tried, so maybe if you pick a different one, a different character, you might get a different cutscene at the beginning. I don't know. Let me know.
My vow of defiance.
Oh dear.
I see you've heard me.
So it takes inspiration from things like Dark Souls and God of War. The main difference between this and Dark Souls, even though the combat is very similar, is that Dark Souls really wants to punish you. You feel weak, you feel vulnerable in a very hostile world.
Either way, our quest for Antanas nears a conclusion.
I hope he's worth all the men we've lost on our way here.
Whereas in this game, you feel like a badass motherfucker. You feel like you are ready to take on anything. Even if you're struggling, you still feel like you're tough. You feel like you're very, very formidable. And that's a big enough difference to warrant you checking this game out over Dark Souls.
It's quiet.
I think Dark Souls is more
quiet.
epic, but this is still
Even
just
for
as
a
much fun.
monastery. Hold on.
And as you can see, visuals are great. It's definitely a looker as well. It looks better than Dark Souls, I can tell you that for a fact. This guy's just chilling in the rafters, hoping that somebody walks through the door. Through here. Okay, so this part, definitely, if you stand at the back, waiting, trying to read this thing, that enemy will come at you, and it will rip you to bits. So I'd say, just as a quick tip, as soon as the game starts, and you see this notice pop up, this focus notice, then make sure that you run up to this enemy, and then it will pause. It's paused like this. If you don't do that, it's going to run at you, and it's going to hurt you. I learned that the hard way. So what it's saying here is focus, which basically means you can lock onto an enemy. So let's do that. There you go. Locked onto him. Now he's coming at me, so I need to block that, so I can block. Timing is essential, so then block and then counter attack. Boom. And again. Boom. And again. No, didn't like that, so need to roll away. So you've got the roll, and then you've got the heavy. That's fucking stupid. You've got the heavy attack, and again with the heavy attack. And he's done. Great. And then it tells you about your stats at the bottom. So your red bar is your health bar. The yellow bar is your endurance, like how many times you can swing your sword. Look, it's not. Let me do that because the text is on it. But pretty much your endurance, and your blue bar is your magic. Great. Demonic weapons pack. Yeah, Monk Decipher and lot. This was my pre-order bonus. Lionheart pack. I believe you can buy all of this stuff as DLC. I'm not sure how much it is. I'm not even sure how good it is. I don't know. I haven't played that much of the game to really see what that part is. But that was the pre-order stuff. Okay, so very similar to Dark Souls. That you roll about. The heavier you are, the more restrictive your roll is. You can go from one-handed and a shield to two-handed at the touch of a button. You can block with a shield, and you can block two-handed. You have a heavy attack, and you have a light attack, and it all matters on your yellow bar, which is in between there, which is your endurance. Exactly the same as Dark Souls. Okay, so with that out of the way, I'm just going to say one thing that I don't like about this game. I think that the voice acting is stupid. It really is. In a game with production values this high, and it is, the graphics are beautiful in this game. It looks way better than Dark Souls does. It looks way better than Darksiders, and it looks as good as God of War. It's a good looking game. Even if a lot of the settings are quite similar, it's still a good looking game. But the voice acting and the dialogue, I'm just going to show you. I think that's the best thing that I can do, is just show you.
It's locked.
Right, it's locked. So we need to say something relevant, like how do we open the door? That's relevant, right? Or you can say, I mean, the survivors this and the other. I haven't done that. Let's go.
There must be some way to open this door.
A switch,
what's wrong with him?
perhaps, or a key.
What's wrong with him? There must be some way to open this door. For real? Who speaks like that? It's kind of like an alien wanted to simulate a British person. It's kind of offensive.
These things keep coming. We fight back, but there are too many of them. It is sickening
Okay, now
to see them move. Their limbs
you have to
twist
go through
and
this
turn
door.
in ways they're not
This door's
supposed
locked,
to.
yeah?
And their smell.
So you have to go
Fire,
down here and
death creeping up your nose.
through that
The
door,
creatures
yeah?
we were fighting spat on us. The saliva hit my eye. It burned, and it burns deeper into me.
But there are lots of secrets in this game, and I highly recommend that you explore your environment. Oh, shit, that's not jump. What's jump? Is it red? I forget what jump is. Holy shit, what's jump? Oh, it might be. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so I highly recommend that you explore your environments, because there is a lot of different secrets that you can discover. Here is one of them, right in the very first room. All of the environment is destructible, and it doesn't look like it's immediately destructible, which is a really nice feature. Like look at this, it looks like it belongs there, but you can smash it. That's where this game really does look great. Okay, so this is, what did we get? Ghost Merge Shard. No idea what that is, but hey, we have it. So you can jump across here, but this door's locked. Don't know where it goes. Maybe it'll be open later on in the game? Not yet. I fell down, and this brings us out round here. Okay, so let's move on. Now, an important part is the lock-on feature. If you're not locking on to an enemy, you really are swinging with precision. And you can play the game like that. I actually, the first time I played this game, forgot about the lock-on feature, or just skipped over it. And I was just trying to really fight precisely. And I was having a shitload of fun with it. If you lock it on, it definitely makes the game easier. So, it's kind of a choice if you want to use the lock-on. The thing is with the lock-on, is that it locks your camera. So for example, I will be locked like this. You can't fight like that. If you lock onto an enemy, your camera is fixed to being behind you, and it's something to bear in mind, because in some tight environments, it can make a difference. But that's enough talk. Let's get on with it and just show you what I mean. So, lock on. Boom. Boom. See, I don't have to aim that. Once I'm locked on, I just have to swing, and it'll hit him. And you can tell the difference because you've got those little yellow brackets. I'll show you that in a second. I don't think there's anything here. But let me tell you, with that lock-on feature, he was easy enough to dispatch. That enemy that was here, without lock-on, he's actually a challenge. And you can break that stuff by rolling into it too. Okay, so there's another enemy round here. We're going to run through this real quickly because I've done it so many times, but it's still enjoyable. Like, the grind from Dark Souls in this game is just as enjoyable. Okay, so you can see his health bar. If I lock on, see, you've got that brackets around it. It's easy to tell when you are locked on. Now you can stealth them. You can hit them from behind, and it does do a bit more damage. But obviously this guy's facing us, so we're just gonna swing away. Fuck his ass up. Now, sometimes the enemies do drop stuff. Other times they don't. I didn't. There are 2 enemies down here. Now, as you can see, that I'm running around two-handed because I've done this before. But you can like just hold your shield up, and you can like be very protective. And it's probably a smarter way to play when you start. I just like the womp stick. That's why I've got the hammer. I really like it. Boom! Boom! Roll away because there's somebody behind me. There is another enemy down here. Where's he hiding? There he is. Hey, I think we've got dumber since we started this. Now there is no difficulty in this game, no difficulty selection, but there is a new game plus. I'm not sure how many new game pluses there are, but there are new game pluses. And don't think because there's no difficulty selection that this game is easy. It does get quite challenging after a while. But to start with, as long as you follow these few little tips what I've told you, it's actually not too hard at all. See what I mean? There was something in front of that and a nice little secret room. You have to really explore the environment and try and find as much as, because these items, like these healing items, when it comes to fighting the bosses or the lords of the fallen or whatever, they do make a big difference having these healing items. You are going to need them for that. And that brings us on to the healing. The healing is, like, if I tap one button, I think it's the blue button, if I tap that button, it switches between health regeneration and magic regeneration, yeah? That's fine. But the same button, if you hold that button, actually uses it. That can get confusing. I think it should be on a separate button, because you might just be trying to switch through it, or you might be trying to hold it, and it might be on a different, you might be consuming something you didn't even mean to consume. I honestly do believe that does get confusing, especially when you're in the heat of battle and you're trying to concentrate on a couple of different things at once. Depends on your skill set. You can get used to it, don't get me wrong. It's not a major problem. I just think that should have been on a different button. Another little personal gripe, but still. It's telling you now that you can stealth this guy, and you will probably take him out in one hit. Yep, take him out in one hit if you stealth him.
It is in me, and it is changing me. My skull. The bones are moving, growing.
The lighting and the
It
ambient
does not
effects
feel
are
like
just
poison in my veins, more like liquid darkness. We have seen with others what happens next. Eyesight goes first, then follows sanity. Brother William, Brother Peter and I won't let the disease take us. We will choose death before it chooses us.
Now, what you were hearing there is these audio logs. Now, surprisingly enough, the character dialogue when you're in conversations is awful, but those audio logs are actually kind of decent, which is weird. I think maybe it's just an interpretation. I don't think this game is made by an English-speaking country. I think it could be a French company, but the translation is a little off. That's why the cutscenes seem a bit bizarre to me. So it might just be a localization issue. Maybe they'll fix that. Maybe it'll just be a quirk of the game. I don't know. It's not a major problem. You can certainly understand what's going on. It just looks a little bizarre. So I'm going to run at this guy and I'm going to whomp him. Take that. And that. Now, I'm making this look fairly easy, because, trust me, I've done it several times. One, because I've tried to bring this video several times, and two, because I've died plenty of times while trying it. But yeah, trust me, give it a go and you'll see what I mean.
Dear Father, the fires on the horizon, they are spreading towards our village. I beg you, be careful. Something evil is happening. I can feel that. You can always seek refuge here, in the monastery. Whatever happens, Antanas can save us. Please, please, be safe.
Something evil is happening. Okay, so my quest is to find a key, yeah? This is the key that I'm trying to find, yeah. Giant key quest item. Okay, so now I can go back to the beginning and I can... yeah, make sure you destroy all the environment, because there are things to find. Now we can go back to where that that mage was waiting by that locked door, and we can open that door. But we can either go back the way we come, or we can carry on going forward, which will bring us that way anyway. I don't think the northern wing. Northern wing, sir. Tearing this up just to see if there's any like consumables or anything. Okay, what this is a portal. Hopefully I'll come back and show you this in a little while when we've got more time. Is that an audio log? No, it's a ghost mode shard. Right, what these portals are, if you read that, it says there's a formidable boss. It says formidable enemy. They mean boss, right? Once you've beaten the area boss, come back to here and you can go into a portal. Now, the first couple of portals are easy. They're just like you've got a couple of rewards, a couple of chests. But as you go on, these portals do get increasingly difficult. There's enemies that you have to defeat before you can get to the chest, and certain puzzles, and they're actually worth doing. It gives you some good rewards, some good upgrades, some armor stuff, even some weapons. So it's definitely worth coming back and finding these. These things are in every level. Sometimes there's more than one of them, and they unlock once you've beaten the boss. So going back and exploring the level is definitely worth doing. However, you've got to find them and activate them first, and then beat the boss and then come back and do it. Depends whether you think that's tedious or not. I don't. I think it actually gives you incentive to keep going and explore. I'm perfectly happy with that. So I will show you that once we've beaten the boss. There's a guy at the top of the stairs. Look how mean he looks. This is a different type of enemy. Now, that is a small gripe of the game as well. The actual area enemies. There isn't a massive variety. There is enough. There's enough to warrant it being... see, that's a good example of like the camera. But I've locked onto the camera and I can't escape him. Just drag this guy down here. It's easier to fight him down here. But see, I was locked onto him. My camera was and it affected the roll. I couldn't actually get away from him. Now this guy is a bit tougher than the other enemies that I fought. He definitely can counter well. You can't use your heavy against him. So what I'm going to do is pop out my shield. I'm going to try and block. I'm going to use my normal attack. Oh, whoa. So we're going to heal up because... yeah, he just busted me up. Nope. I'm going to use my shield. Come on, follow me back down. So there's not a massive enemy variety like there would be in Dark Souls. In Dark Souls there's a lot of different enemies and they all behave differently. Yes, the enemies do behave slightly differently, but there's not a massive selection. There is new enemies in every level, but not masses of different enemies. And a light attack. No, block. Yeah, it's finding the best combination between block and attack, because this enemy can definitely triple your... whoa! It can definitely knock you off balance when you're blocking his attacks. So, roll out the way and then hit him. Fuck! I missed. It's not as easy as it first appears. Get down and stay down. But look, I've used a health potion for that guy, and unfortunately, I've only got 2 left. Now I've got the boss coming up, and I'm going to need some of those health potions for the boss. So let's keep moving forward. Remember, we can come back here for the portal once we've beaten the boss. What does this give me? Energy shard. Lovely. Okay, this area for some reason, maybe it's the lighting because of this thing going around, it's got quite like dynamic lighting. This area is taking a frame hit. We're actually like at like 45 now, and that's with VSync on. which is weird. You can talk to him again if you want.
I've found a key.
What are you waiting for? Open the door.
Exactly. You can just go straight in. You don't have to talk to him. But it pretty much says, like, you tell him to leave or you tell him to support you.
I
want
could
him
use
to
some
support him.
help.
He
Here.
doesn't, but there you
This
go.
might be useful.
Oh, actually, yeah, it's worth talking to him because, look, he gave me some more health potions. Definitely talk to him. Now I've got 4. So that's excellent. He gave me 3 health potions. Okay. This is the first boss. And he definitely looks a shitload scarier than he actually is. Now, that doesn't mean he's a walk in the park. Took me a few attempts to beat him, but once you've learned his attack patterns, he's actually quite manageable. And that's the case with most of the bosses in this game. It's just learning the attack patterns. Boss battles are intended to take a while, use, but it's intended to watch the boss, observe him, and learn how to defeat him. Look at this guy, man. Look at him. Oh shit. Yeah, so what you see at the top, where it says First Warden, is his health bar. Now, you can see that it's split up into segments, quarters. What that is his armor. The more you manage to get a hit off on him, you'll start getting his armor. And when you break his armor, that's how you hurt. Now he's got that attack, he's got a few other attacks. This attack that he does where he slams his sword down to the floor can hit you from anywhere. Try and get him to do it. That one there. If you're in front of that, I don't know why that didn't hit him. That was weird. If you're in front of that one where he slams his sword down on the floor, regardless of how far away you are, it will hit you and it will hurt you. See? It will hit you and it will hurt you. I'm going to try and lock onto his ass now. We'll try and get him to attack us a bit more. So as you can see, my hits do no damage to him whatsoever, and I got hurt, so let's heal up quickly. Okay, let's take this fight seriously. Run away. That's a good enough introduction. Now, as you notice, I have my shield out. It's not gonna block shit. It's just a way of personal peace of mind. Yeah, that attack is just fucking brutal. Yeah, you must be careful because if he gets a counter attack up on you, it's going to do way more damage than you're doing to him. So while you can block with your shield, I'm going to try and go in two-handed. And what we're going to be trying to do is just get him down to the quarter so you can knock off a piece of his armor. And that's not necessarily true for all the bosses, just for this boss. All the bosses have like a mechanic and a way to just figure them out. Woohoo, that was close. Come on, motherfucker. Pull away. There you go. Right, hit a piece of his armor off. I've got him down to 3/4. So yeah, then he starts doing different attack patterns. He does change his attack slightly. So that hurt him a lot, but also fucking hurt me a lot. Yeah, see how he hit me? As if you're in the line of sight of that, it will hurt you. So manage to avoid that whenever you can. Obviously two-handed weapon is going to do way more damage, so it's worth thinking about, but move slower and use more endurance, so almost got another piece of armor down. Whomping the crap out of me. Yeah, try and save these health potions till you're below half, because they actually replenish quite a bit. There's another piece of armor gone. Now the next thing that you'll be working on is your shield. If you get him below a third, you'll be working on his shield. Then his attack patterns do change. Get out of there, get out of there. And that stomped me. See, I completely underestimated him. Completely underestimated that guy. Okay, so this time we can just run straight in there. Don't need to worry about anything else. Just going to go straight in. Now here's where it's very similar to Dark Souls, whereas what I now have to do is collect my experience. Now what this game does have is a mechanic similar to Dark Souls, is where you collect all this experience and you can store it in like these save spots, which work the same as a bonfire. You can store it there, and by storing it, you can then spend it whenever you need to, spend it. But you lower the chance of the drop rate. The more experience that you have on you at any one time, the higher chance of the enemies dropping or the chests dropping better loot, which is a good way to balance out what you're doing. I'm going to try and just concentrate on losing as less health as I possibly can. Whoa! See, these counters really fucking come sharp. Yeah, undo the lock and get out of there. See how the lock was really restricting my movement then because I was locked onto him? That's something you do have to be aware of. I can't stress that enough. If you think to yourself, why can't I fucking move? It's because you're locked onto him. Always bear it in mind. It's definitely something that takes practice to get used to. It's not a massive problem, just a bit of practice. This game can make you think, oh, I suck, or this game sucks. It doesn't suck, it's a great game. It's a great game. You just have to really practice it. It's not supposed to be beaten straight away. It's not supposed to, you start it and you're like, instantly a master of it. That's why there's no difficulty level. You're supposed to practice, you're supposed to observe the enemy, you're supposed to observe your surroundings and take advantage of every exploit you can. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're a fan of a game like Dark Souls. And I will be doing like wait there. What am I doing now? Really close. Well, what attack are you using? That one? Count that. Roll away! No! Yeah, get away from him. Get away from him. He's about to hit you. It's gonna hurt. See how he's just storming at you? He does have different attack patterns. It's like sometimes he'll counter twice. Sometimes he'll counter 3 times. And you get used to him just sitting there doing nothing? No, he ain't. There is a decent amount of challenge to this game. Like, I'm not locked onto the boss there, and I definitely take the risk of not hitting him when I swing. If I was locked on, I would have hit him much harder than that. Oh, man. Now, see, he actually locked onto me. It felt a bit cheap, but it was definitely justified. He's at half, I'm at half. I'm locked onto you, I'm come at you with a hard ass heavy hit. There you go, down to half. Back off, motherfucker. Let's run away from him. Come on, the first warden. I know that you have more than that. I'm gonna heal. Look, I have half the much health that you do. I got a shield too. The fuck down. I didn't hurt him at all. How about two-handed? Ouch, that hurt. That hurt big time. And it's easy to like roll away from him in a straight line. Try and avoid that. Because he will just like slam the ground and fuck your ass up. See, he hit me with every counter then. Yeah, that's his shield down. Now watch him turn into Michael Flatley, Lord of the fucking Dance, and start changing his attack plans. This is kind of hard to avoid. You just have to keep running away. And I'm going to change the lock off. Get away, get away. Okay, actually need to heal up. There you go. But you just have to time your attacks now. But he's going to keep doing this, and he's going to hit you if you get anywhere near close to him. So you just have to... He's got this sort of stride that... He's almost down. He's got one hit, so I'm just going to go for it. The fuck down! And that's the first boss. Now, not exactly a walk in the park, but once you know what you're doing with him, it's not too bad a challenge. Visuals in this game are really impressive. Horse warden has been beat.
What was that? One of those lords Kazlo keeps talking about.
Sealed rune and persistent greatsword. Okay, so what these things do, this is pretty much what I was telling you before. Now, you can go into these things and you can store that XP. Now, if I hold all of that XP, remember I died and I had to pick it up again, so I've still got that plus the XP of killing the boss. If I hold that on me, the next time I fight enemies, I'm going to have a higher drop rate. Which means they could drop health, they could even drop weapons at some point, even the chests. Now, if I decide to store it now, it means that I can spend it. Not just now, at any point that I want. When I store it, I have the opportunity to store it as... what does it say here? Storing shards as spell points or as attribute points. So let's have a look at that. Because coming towards the end of now. So at the bottom you see spell points or attribute points. Now I've got 1,675, which means that I can actually put a point into spell points and a point into attribute points. So let's do that. Put one into attribute points. I've still got 574 left, which means I can put one into attribute points. Now, that's a choice that I made. You could put it all into one, or all into the other, or do what I've done with both. So I now have an attribute point to spend. So let's spend that. Character development, yeah, attributes. So let's click on that. So now you have strength, vitality, faith, endurance, agility, or luck. And there's a brief description on what you want to do. Now, my character has a sword and a big fat fucking womp stick. Now, my womp stick requires strength, so I'm going to level up my strength. What this does affects not only the damage dealt with strength-based weapons, but also slightly increases your ability to carry heavier gear. Okay, so, and you've got, you know, all of these which you can do. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to concentrate on that. Accept that. Okay, so that's spent. So let's now go to spell points, which it hasn't actually told me about yet. We haven't covered magic yet in this actual part of the tutorial. But remember I made the decision between Brawling, Solace, or Deception, those 3 magic types, as you can see here, you can actually level up anything that you want. You don't have to just concentrate on that one. But what it does do is gives you more options with the one that you chose. So let's stick with that. Now, prayer, faith requirement, a motionless clone that attracts enemies. Okay, you can't just pick one. You have to start at the top and work your way down. And for some reason, it's not allowing me to. Oh yeah, it is. See, I can't pick that, but I can pick this. So if I go to prayer and accept, it then unlocks rage and ram. Okay, what this does is puts a clone of me on the ground. Now, providing that the enemy doesn't see me roll away, it will then attack that clone. And that clone will stay there, and it will carry on attacking me for me to roll around behind it and attack it from behind. Once I've attacked it from behind once, it then knows that the clone is a clone, and it'll come after me. But it's a nice advantage when you're low on health to maybe roll away and heal, or to just get that slight advantage. This one, Rage, stops your endurance from falling. So for a couple of seconds you can just swing away and without worrying about endurance and really get some hits off, especially if your enemy is stunned before you do it. It can be quite handy, that one. You have to time it right. And Ram sends a demon out from your body towards an enemy, so you have to aim it, and it'll run off to an enemy and it'll do some damage. So it's kind of like a projectile. And Quake, I haven't unlocked that yet. So there you go. That's pretty much that. Inventory. This is where you equip all items. As you can see, your character has slots for runes, consumables, weapons, shield, gloves, boots. Actually, what's that? Yeah, gloves, boots, wrists, armor, helmet, ring slots or trinkets, and then quest items. So all of this can be customized, and you can equip what you want. I'm not going to go into too much detail of it, but you can imagine you just pick one of these that you want, and then go through the list and select what you wanna have. Right, this is what I have equipped at the moment, I believe, and I don't think I have anything that's better than that right now. So I'm going to stay with it. Actually, no, I have this equipped right now with the tick on it. So let's go with the Scream Hammer. This actually, it uses less energy and it's a bit lighter. This is quite heavy, but I'm going to just stick with it and show you the difference. And then there's lore. If you want to look through all of this stuff, there's a whole bunch of shit that you can look through and really get involved with it. Because similar to Dark Souls, obviously the lore is going to help you with finding secrets and things like that. And the audio logs, but that's pretty much what that is. And if you use it, that's a save. Checkpoint activated, health refill. Using that is like you're sitting at a bonfire in Dark Souls. It replenishes your health, it replenishes all the potions that you can carry, and things like that. So, let's move on. It tells me about stealth now, but look, a surprise attack. Really? What kind of surprise attack? He knows I'm here. Now this hammer is definitely slower to swing, but it still does the desired effect. So what I might do is try with a shield. So you can backstab in this game, similar to Dark Souls. If you can get into the right position, you can backstab, just like that. And the backstab is an insta-kill for most enemies. Not all enemies, for most enemies it's an insta-kill.
Soon after banishing the god, the 3 men that were known as the Judges parted ways forever. Apart from their common goal, they were very different in every possible way. 3 statues were built for them on the square of the Judges, displaying the distinct paths they had taken. These statues hold a secret, as if it were their heart, but it is retained by the stone. Only the Shard of Heroes could make that heart beat, and only an unearthly force could tear it out.
Okay, so while it hasn't shown me about magic yet, let me see if I actually do have the ability. And I do. Oh! You need to time it better. Okay, so what? Try and get it off. Right, what that's done is created that clone of me. See how he's distracted by it? I'm there behind him. whacking fucking hard. He still thinks it's the clone. So I've got that advantage up on him already. And because I was locked onto him, I was restricted then, which is fucking stupid, but hey, you have to be aware of this. You can block this enemy's attacks. I always go for heavies. I've got a hammer for that, so what's the point in having lights? Yeah, he's down. Your experience, victory! I actually just got a Marauder Great Axe. So let's see whether I can equip that. Weapons. Marauder Great Axe. Yes, look, it uses less energy and it's lighter, but it does the same damage, so I'm actually going to switch to that. Thanks for dropping that, motherfucker. I'm taking it. Look how hench that fucking looks. But as you can see, it's got that Darksiders feel to the weapons because... Come on, it's Final Fantasy beat, man, but it's got a nice art style to it. Yeah, you go through these doors. And this door. This guy. Let's go two-handed with him. Whoa! Yeah, see, that's a different attack completely. Swings. Woo hoo hoo hoo! Yeah, but it hits like a fucking truck. Nice. So what's my normal attack? Yeah, it swings. That definitely hits like a fucking truck. I like that a lot. I can hear another enemy growling somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Is that a chest? Yeah, that's a chest. Take that. A monk staff. Well, I'm not a mage, so...
We can't stand against such forces much longer. We must find a place to hide. A place with walls and soldiers, mighty Antanas. We will be on our way. Please prepare for a few dozen refugees.
A few dozen refugees.
What exactly were the Lords? They wielded power beyond our understanding. They fought fiercely, and they blindly followed the God. Anyone who tried to talk to them, reason with them, failed. The Lords did not come for discussion. They came to serve their purpose. To lead the Rogar army against the humans.
Come on, now attack my clone before it runs out, please. It's disappeared. Yeah, that hurts if you hit you with that fucking vomit thing. It really does. Yeah, get down. What the fuck, man? Combat feels really weighty. The audio is fantastic in this game. Apart from the dialogue, like, it really does have that weight to it. It feels fucking chunky. Definitely delivers with some weight and some impact. Rogue. All light armor. No, we don't really want light armor. I probably have found some. This is what I have equipped. Now this shield weighs 1. This one is a lot heavier, and it does give slightly better poise, but actually poison is the lower the better. So I'm going to stick with that shield. There's probably some better stuff. I'm not going to look into that. Let's go on to the next area. Now normally, this is going to be a loading screen through here, so this would normally crash out the recording software. I'm hoping it doesn't, so I can show you this next part. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I do like the fact that you can interact with this while you're waiting, because more games need to do that, especially if like you've got long loading screens. And some games that especially are heavy on textures and things like that, they do have long loading screens. Okay, so we're on like an outside level now, and as you can see, like these levels are like set pieces. dispatch this enemy first. So this uses a lot of stamina to swing this weapon about, so I might unequip it and change it for something that takes less stamina, but it hits fucking hard. So there's always that balance, and you're always thinking that during the game. It definitely keeps progression smooth and balanced, and it always keeps pushing you forward. You can't fuck with that. Now, I can quite happily keep farming all this area, and obviously either deposit more or have the better chance of dropping, or I can save it here in case I die. Now, this is a set piece area, which means that there's a big enemy on the top either side of that tower. There is a big enemy strolling about, as you can see him right there. You got a kick, I didn't even know you got that. And there's these two. Now, between the three of them, that can be a bit challenging, but you can taunt them and take them on one by one. However, what I'm going to do is save it. So, we'll go to character development first, and I've got 600, which means that I can put it into attributes, and I will do that. So, let's go into attributes and endurance. Gonna be putting that at 1. Accept, because I feel that my endurance is letting me down with this big ass fucking stick. So, and let's replenish my health and everything there. So I've taken the risk of not getting as better drops, but it means that I can progress a little bit further. Should I die? I don't think I'll die. This part isn't that bad. Those two that are over there aren't even triggered unless you get closer to them. This guy, however, is. Yeah, that hurt him, but I've got no endurance to roll away! Oh, ho, ho, ho. And that's the balance of the game. Picking the right equipment and the right weapon to tackle your combat based on the stats that you have and the enemy that you're taking on. Very similar to Dark Souls. It's a nice alternative to Dark Souls. Is it as good? Hell fucking no, it's not as good. But it is the closest thing to Dark Souls without being part of the Souls universe. And that's definitely a good thing. And like I said before, the thing that separates this game from Dark Souls is the fact that this game makes you feel powerful. You definitely don't feel vulnerable in this game. Oh, I gotta heal up because I'm about to get fucked up straight up. And that's the biggest thing. You always feel... Yeah, I got the backstab off on him. Shame it's too late. Nice, did he drop anything? No, he didn't drop anything. If I'd have kept the XP, he might have dropped something. Okay, so, yeah. And that's the thing. This game just makes you feel powerful. And that's why this is worth trying. And it's why it's not entirely fair to compare this to Dark Souls. Dark Souls is always hostile. It always makes you feel vulnerable. It makes you feel like you are being punished the whole time. And that's part of the Dark Souls appeal. Instant kill for that, watch out. Whereas this makes you feel fucking tough. Yes, this makes you feel fucking tough. Okay then guys, that has been the Darkest Hour for Lords of the Fallen. I've been Pyramus Crime. I will keep playing this and bring you a review once I'm done with it. I am enjoying the fuck out of this game. And I highly recommend it for fans of the Dark Souls series or action fans with some serious visceral combat and weighty combat. But I will see you soon.
Yeah!